Hello, everyone. So, over the past few slides, we began to talk about what social media addiction is as a whole, and we've also gone over the possible effects that comes along the way when someone is addicted to social media. Now, in this slide, we'll be focusing on the solutions to either avoid or reduce the usage of users in these platforms. To start things off, we'll begin to look at the solutions for individuals. This could be yourself. The first solution goes becoming self-aware of the addiction. Now, this solution is very important. Actually, the most important of any other solution in this page. And this goes the same way for any other addiction you have, for gambling, for smoking, for any other drug, alcohol, or anything related to that. Many people are just not aware that they are actually addicted to their substance abuse. And how do you expect to motivate yourself to make a change for improvement if you don't know that you are actually addicted for any of this? That's very important. And out of all these solutions mentioned in this slide, becoming self-aware of the addiction literally sets up every single other solution in this page. Now, you might be beginning to wonder, how do you know that you're self-aware of the addiction? Well, according to a Washington Post article, they say that if you answer yes to a few of these questions, it is likely that you have been addicted to social media. So the first question goes, do you spend a lot of time when you're not online thinking about social media or planning to use social media? Next one goes, do you feel urges to use social media more and more over time? Do you use social media to forget about personal problems? Do you often try to reduce your use of social media without success? Do you become restless or troubled if you're unable to use social media? Do you use social media so much that it has had a negative impact on your job, relationship, or studies? And I know I'm not the only one, but I have definitely said yes to a few of these problems in the past. Now it might be a different story as I started to distance myself from all these platforms, little by little. But before has been in the past, especially in high school. Anyways, the next solution is turning notifications off. Now, this solution can also go a very long way because let's say if you're working on an assignment that's due that night and you have your phone next to you, you get an alarming notification about how, let's say, your friend or your crush has texted you. Or let's say a friend of yours decided to tag you in a post of hers. Or your favorite celebrity posted something and you're just dying to see. All these options, or there might be other more, but all these options, make a user tempting. These are very tempting options for a user to, ignore what they're doing for a moment, just check it out. Now, usually in this case, if you do check these, let's say your texts, or your post out, you're most likely not going to come back to do your assignment or your priority just like that. It's going to take a long more time. So, but if you have your notifications off, not only will you get your assignment or any other obligations done, but you will not have missed a beat as you will be able to access anything they've ever sent you later on that day. And you begin to feel better about yourself, how you accomplish certain things. So, the next one is setting limits of social media usage. Now, this one is a no-brainer, as if you become aware and you know that you're addicted to social media, the most you can do, literally, is to set amount of time you should use on these platforms. The next two solutions kind of tie in from one another. It goes focus time on priorities and goals, while the other one goes spending more time with families and friends. Now, these two are very important because once you're off your addiction, or not off your addiction, but off your platforms, you'll begin to be able to notice about the appreciation you have for nature, wildlife, or your friends and family. Let me remind you, you only live once, so it's very best that you take advantage of what you have. Next, it goes deleting social media apps you don't use. This is also very important, as you see on the beginning intro page, you'll begin to see an increasing trend from 2012 to 2019 of the amount of daily minutes a user takes in social media. In 2019, it's at its peak, and it's not going to slow down anytime yet. As technology increases and creators increase, more people are going to create these social media platforms that tend to have users get latched onto. Even if you don't really go on a daily basis, these apps are just aimed to get your attention. So, deleting these apps can go a long way for you also. Next, ignoring the internet trolls and haters. Now I know this kind of affects only a select few of you, but websites such as Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat can be used for you to rant on. And how can you get ranting when you have nothing to rant for? But in this case, I'm not trying to get very political here or anything, but if you take a look at, let's say, President Trump's tweets over time, the reaction to his tweets have, not been the best. And let's say if you're doing something and you get that notification of how Trump has posted something, and once you've seen something like that, your mind's just all over what he's saying. So, the next solution is the digital detox experiment 30-day test. Let me clarify what this is. This is an experiment where you distance yourself from social media or any electronics, right, for just 30 days. And I can guarantee by that 30 days, you'll have a different thought of mind or appreciation of what you have, and you'll have a different thought of social media, possibly for the better. So you might distance yourself from it even more. This can cause you to maybe, even past those 30 days, continue that trend of not having to use any of the platforms. Also, according to a New York resolution survey, the main goal reported by respondents from 2017 was to quit their social media habits, which easily beat out the goals of losing weight and smoking. The fact that it beat out smoking is ridiculous because smoking is pretty much the number one death cause for Americans. So, and this basically by itself tells you how severe of a situation this is. So yeah. Next, we'll be beginning to look at the solutions for social media corporations and others in society. The first solution is social media platforms showing pop-up ads or messages about the potential dangers of too much screen time for users who have been in the site for hours. This is very important as it can lead the users to begin to understand how much of a flaw social media platforms can be, I guess, if you use at a constant rate. Not a constant rate, but like a dramatic rate, right? Now, the next one, this one is an obvious solution that should be taken seriously, but it's really not possible, most likely. It says social media platforms intentionally limiting the usage time for users daily. The reason why I say it's very impossible is because, these big social media corporations want to make their money's worth or get their money, right? Make their money's worth. So they rather have, what's out there not get stripped away to a very minimum, right? They want to make what's best of what they have. So, if this was the case, if this was a possibility, this would be huge because let's say in a scenario where you're tending to use, or Instagram is having you set up to use the platform for, let's say, 30 minutes. Just on those 30 minutes, right? And the rest of the day, you have nothing else to do. You have no social media to worry about. That time given, that free time, can literally be the time you need to spend on achieving your goals and completing your obligations. Next one goes parents, friends, or even a person rewarding themselves for limited screen time. This goes kind of like the same way as, the one I just mentioned before. Um, if you have a limited screen time schedule, right? And let's say you've been going through this experiment for like, let's say, a week. Many begin to maybe fall into a habit where the rewards are really not needed. And this would just become a daily thing, just only being limited to use Instagram, Twitter, social, or any other social media website for, let's say, 20 minutes or so. The final one is spreading more awareness about the flaws of social media and news. Yes, I also agree that global warming, climate change should also be, focused more on the news. But this is just as severe to like human minds. It's there's so many flaws that come into this. Yes, it can be beneficial for your career and everything, but social media can lead to uh, cases of hospitality or any other dangerous incidents, as it also can also take down certain mental conditions. So it's also very important to that. But to end this slide on a good note, as of July, Instagram has started to hide how many people like a post from many users globally. Nowadays, there's like a jealousy game going on in Instagram where people are just focused on just getting likes and not on the quality of the picture. And that's not what a social media app should be focused on, all about. Just it shouldn't be focused on the stats or analytics uh, of how many people get to see your posts. It should be about spreading love and positivity of by posting your pictures and sending messages to everyone. So I definitely believe that Instagram is taking a right approach to this to limit the use of social media addiction. That is the end of the slide. Thank you so much.